Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mega Man 10 Extras video. First of all, just more proof that I'm playing on the PlayStation 4, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, and to show that if you want to get to the extra stuff in Mega Man 10 on PlayStation 4, you have to kind of jump through some hoops. I'm also showing off the time attack rules, just so, you know, everyone has a handle on how time attack works and why it works the way it does, and, you know, you're free to read the rules at your own pace. Mega Man 10's time attack mode is pretty similar, a little bit better than Mega Man 9's. You'll see why in a second. But first, I'm going to go ahead and just run through a stage, in this case, Nitro Man's stage, and yeah, I'll see you when that's done. Here we go. Okay, so there's a few differences in Mega Man 10's time attack mode compared to Mega Man 9's, but because the next section still deals with time attack mode in a way, I'm going to be talking about a lot more of that stuff then. But the first thing to note is that you can actually replay stages, and not actually replay stages, you can actually look at recordings that the game has done of you playing the stage. So that way you can look at other people's recordings and see how they play the stage and how they were able to do it so well, or how they did it so poorly, etc., etc. These are small changes, but Mega Man 10's time attack mode is, because of these small changes, technically better than Mega Man 9's time attack mode. Not by much, it's essentially the same thing, but, you know, small changes make for big differences at the end of the day. It's pretty good. Anyway, moving on. We're still going to be dealing with special stages here, time attack stages, I should say, through these special stages. There are 3 special stages in Mega Man 10, unlike in Mega Man 9 that only had 1 special stage, which was essentially just a glorified Wily stage, a gauntlet of enemies and bosses and such. Mega Man 10 has 3 not unique special stages. They're unique only in the sense that you've seen these stages before. If you played Mega Man in Dr. Wily's Revenge for Game Boy, Mega Man 3 for Game Boy, and Mega Man 4 for Game Boy, you will know that this stage is actually the stage of the Wily Castle in Mega Man in Dr. Wily's Revenge. Combines some aspects of that, some aspects of the Wily Station, to make a unique little stage with a blast from the past boss. The bosses of the 3 special stages in Mega Man 10 are the 3 Mega Man killer robots, Anchor, Punk, and Ballad. We haven't seen these guys since the Game Boy days, and they're finally back. We get to fight them again, and actually experience what their official weaknesses are. When you actually fight them in the games, the Game Boy games themselves, I don't think they actually have actual weaknesses, but they sure as shit have weaknesses here. Pretty unique weaknesses. They're weak to each other. And that's important to note because at the time Anchor's stage came out, these special stages were released at different times, about, I think, a few weeks apart, maybe a month apart originally. I don't remember exactly when they were released, but there was some time apart between the release of Anchor stage, Punk stage, and then Ballad stage in that order. And because Anchor is weak to Ballad Cracker, people who originally played these stages at release were not able to use Anchor's weakness. Which, you know, kind of baffling, but it's true. Pretty crazy. But it means that when the stage originally came out, people had some trouble with Anchor, because Anchor's not hard, but he's certainly not easy. And if you don't remember how he fought in the Game Boy days, because he fights exactly the same here, then you're going to be in trouble. These stages, despite the fact that, from a level design standpoint, they're essentially carbon copies of their Game Boy counterparts, the fact that you're dealing with Mega Man 10 assets for enemies, and the fact that the screen is not crunched in like it was in the Game Boy days, make these unique experiences. That's why I'm not, superimposing the Game Boy imagery here. If you want to see the Game Boy stuff, then I have 3 Let's Long plays of Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge, Mega Man 3 for Game Boy, and Mega Man 4 for Game Boy. So if you want to see the Mega Man killers in action, then you can just take a look at my Mega Man for Game Boy series, and you'll see them in action there. This is not the first time the 3 Mega Man killer robots have appeared in one game together. They did all appear together in Mega Man 5 for Game Boy, but because you did not get their special powers after beating them, because they're clones that you fight in the last stage of the game, because you didn't get their special powers, you never really knew what their weaknesses were, because once again, they didn't have weaknesses in the Game Boy versions, in Mega Man 5 for Game Boy, or in the respective Mega Man for Game Boy games that they originally appeared in. So this is the first time that you actually get to experience what the Mega Man killer weaknesses are, and again, they are each other. The special powers you're going to get from the Mega Man killer robots, because you do get their special powers if it hasn't already been made clear, are exactly the same as they were in the Game Boy days. So we're going to be getting the mirror thing here from Anchor. We're going to get the Punk Screws from Punk, and we're going to get the Ballad Cracker from Ballad. So a nice blast from the past, and I'll explain more about what the special weapons are like and how they can be used in Mega Man 10 after we take on Anchor, because we're here. It's time to take on Anchor. The first and original Mega Man killer robot. He fights exactly the same as he did in Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge. He jumps, he runs to one side of the screen to the other. He holds up his lance high. It can absorb your shots of your Mega Buster. Try not to shoot him too many times when he's doing that, because that's going to absorb your shots and make his beam that he fires out at you way, way, way stronger and do way, 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 way more damage than it would have originally. If he's running from one side of the screen to the other, he is immune to all damage. If he's jumping from one side of the screen to the other, he is not immune to damage, and you can try to lay a couple of pot shots before he raises his lance up high. Overall, not that difficult, but I don't do a good job at him this time around. Not at all. You're seeing this performance. It sucks. He's a fun fight, though. It's a fun fight and a nice blast from the past. Overall, the Anchor stage is good. The Anchor boss fight is better. I really like this boss fight. It's a good way to open the DLC of Mega Man 10. Well worth your money. Anyway, we don't get a, you got a weapon screen for beating Anchor or Punk or Ballad, but rest assured, you do get their special weapons. And these special weapons can be used in the main game. I didn't use them because I recorded all that footage before doing the special stages. But, and you'll see it in other modes in this extras video, that, playing as Mega Man, you will be able to use the Mega Man killer special weapons. If you were to go and start a new game in easy mode or normal mode or hard mode, or, just boot up a save file of easy mode, normal mode, or hard mode of the main campaign, you will see that Mega Man, exclusively Mega Man, has access to Anchor's weapon, Punk's weapon, and Ballad's weapon. Only Mega Man, because only Mega Man can play time attack stages. Proto Man and Base cannot play time attack stages, and time attack stages operate as if though you were playing the game on normal mode. If you want a challenge and do like a speed run of Nitro Man stage in hard mode, you can't do that. You can do that, but you can't do that in time attack mode. So, and there, by the way, is Anchor's weapon in action. Exactly the same as it was in Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge. It's just a deflector, deflects things right back at enemies, pot shots, and the like. Pretty good. And it is Punk's weakness. It's not a good weakness for Punk. I don't recommend using it against Punk, but it's his weakness. It's worth noting. It does do heavy damage, but because of how difficult it is to actually hit Punk with it, it's not worth using it, really. Just use your Mega Buster against Punk. Mega Man killer robots are not weak to anything except for the Mega Buster itself and their respective Mega Man killer weaknesses. So Anchor can only be hit for some actual damage with the Mega Buster and with the Ballad Cracker. Punk can only be damaged by the Mega Buster and by Edgar's mirror thing, and Ballad can only be hurt by the Punk Screws or the Mecha Buster. This is why I don't get why people don't like Mega Man 10 compared to Lena 9. They did kind of go all out with this stuff. You know, they didn't have to bring back old Robot Masters from the past and actually let you use their weapons and stuff. Actually give you tangible in-game rewards for taking the time to play their stages and beat their retro Robot Masters, but they did. They did, and it's nice. It's not a big thing by any stretch of the imagination. I get why people like Mega Man 9 more than 10 because it's more retro, but I don't know. 10 is just really good. And again, it makes the special stages that are basically just retro blasts from the past feel fresh because, you know, you're dealing with Mega Man 10 assets and Mega Man 10 graphics and not the scrunched black and white days of, you know, recycling the assets from Mega Man's 1 through 5. You know, these are brand new assets in a stage you might recognize with good music too. It's good stuff. This stage takes a lot from the from a Wily base that you go to before the Wily Marine Castle, I think, or it might just take it directly from the Wily Marine Castle. I don't remember. Either way, it's very well designed, very well put together. I like this. But enough dawdling and rambling about stages and how they look. It's time to fight Punk, and he actually enters exactly as he did in Mega Man 3 for Game Boy, which is pretty cool. Alright, so Punk basically going to throw a couple of Punk Screws at you, and then he is going to get into a Sonic the Hedgehog-esque spin dash spiky ball, and he's going to charge the other side of the screen. He might charge at you, you know, close to the ground, medium height, or, you know, as high as he can possibly go. If he's as high as he can possibly go, then don't jump. Just let him pass you, because it's not going to hurt you unless you jump. If he's spinballing middle or below, then, you know, you want to jump over it because it's going to hit you and it's going to do a lot of damage, as you saw right there. His weakness is Anchor's mirror crush thing, weapon, whatever you want to call it. You can't hurt him directly with it. This is another cause and effect boss where you have to actually absorb one of his Punk Screws and deflect that shot right back at him, which the mirror thing does immediately. There's a very low probability of it actually hitting Punk, so, you know, while it does do a lot of damage and is his weakness, I don't recommend using it. Just, you know, a combination of it and pot shots with your Mega Buster is enough to take him down, as you see. And that's it. That's Punk. Time for Ballad. My favorite stage, and no, I think the Punk fight's my favorite of the 3 fights, but this is my favorite stage, and my favorite theme for a stage. This is a fantastic theme for a stage. If you may remember, Punk and Ballad did not have stages leading up to their fights in the story of Mega Man 3 and 4 for Game Boy. You just fought them at random intervals in special small stages where there wasn't much to it. This stage takes a lot from the Wily Station in Mega Man 4 for Game Boy. It takes quite a bit. This stage and Punk stage also had E-tanks, so if you're having trouble with the Punk fight or the Ballad fight, remember there is an E-tank in the Punk stage and there is an E-tank in the Ballad stage, so it would be well worth your time to hunt for that and make sure you get it before you go in to fight Punk or Ballad. You might not even have to use it with Ballad because the Punk Screw, which is Ballad's weakness, is really, really good against Ballad. Because the weakness for Punk is so bad, you know, you might want to make double sure that you get the E-tank and Punk stage for that. And I say they recycled a lot of they just used a lot of Mega Man 10 assets to make the stage unique, but those missiles are directly lifted from Mega Man 4. Like, obviously they didn't directly lift it, but, you know, they redesigned and remade those missile assets for this stage in Mega Man 10, which is really cool. And by the way, this is where you get the E-Tank. Just make sure you shoot those 2 missiles, don't get hurt by them, that'd be stupid. Get yourself some free health on E-Tank, which save that for the ballad fight in case you have trouble with the ballad fight. And that way you don't just have one shot and then, you know, you have to start all the way from the beginning of the stage. Time attack stages do not have checkpoints. So because of that, make doubly sure you get the E-Tank, so that way you don't die when you get the ballad and have to do the entire stage over again. Unlike in the regular campaign, where if you die, you can just, you know, start from a checkpoint. Or start from the hallway where the boss is. Can't do that here. Nope. I caught myself listening to the theme. Can't really do that. Gotta keep on talking. There's not much more to say. I really like the time attack of Mega Man 10. Because of the special stages and because of the little improvements they made to it, it's a really good mode. And it really increases replay time. That's a tricky part, by the way, with those 2 missiles that I just destroyed with the punk screw. That's a tricky part, because in Mega Man 4 for Game Boy, you did have the ability to slide and charge your shots. But because of your limited equipment, you have to make do with the special weapons to try to get through. Very devious. Very devious. And I almost screwed myself here with this. But I think eventually I just use Will Cutter. Almost screwed myself there, but I didn't, thankfully. Which again would have sucked, because you would have had to start all the way from the beginning of the stage, and you don't want to do that. You just want to play the stage and get to the boss and fight the boss and have a good time and finish in one go. This is directly lifted from Mega Man 4 for Game Boy. And again, if you want to see these original stages, I didn't superimpose the stages on top of it because, you know, these stages feel unique enough with all the Mega Man 10 assets, but if you want to see the original stages in action, then go ahead and take a look at my Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge long play, Mega Man 3 for Game Boy long play, and Mega Man 4 for Game Boy long play. Now we fight Ballad with the mask off, because he also wears a mask sometimes, but not here. He jumps, he leaves Ballad crackers, not that tough. Just use your punk screws, take him out, it's a war of attrition. He does a lot of damage, you do a lot of damage. Take him out as quick as you can. And I use an E-Tank here just in case. I didn't have to use an E-Tank. I was going to win with that punk screw right there, but whatever. It's all done. And those are the special stages. So, yeah. By the way, here's the Ballad Cracker in action. It's a very powerful special weapon. Shoots in all directions, just like bass. And, you know, instead of it being blades or pellet shots, it's a bomb, so it's extra powerful. And again, this is Anchor's weakness, but you wouldn't have it the very first time you played this because you're probably playing the special stages in order, or you're playing the special stages in order of release, so you wouldn't have them. But there it is in action. It doesn't increase the size of Anchor's lance, so that's good. Anyway, we're done. Let's move on to the next thing. Moving right past the biggest chunk of what this extra video is going to be, we now have Endless Mode, which is another oldie but goodie. Here you see the rules of Endless Mode. We had Endless Mode in Mega Man 9, and it's back in Mega Man 10, and it's essentially the exact same thing as the one in Mega Man 9. I mean, literally the exact same thing. The only difference is, you know, it's Mega Man 10 assets. Besides that, it's literally the same thing. I think every 30 screens or 20 screens, you fight a boss. We're going to fight a boss here at one point, just to show that off, because I didn't get to show that off in the Mega Man 9 Endless Mode. But I'm going to show it off here. Exactly the same as in Mega Man 9. Every now and again, you're probably going to encounter things that remind you of portions of stages either in Mega Man 10, Mega Man 9, or in earlier Mega Man games. I know that in the Mega Man 9 Endless Mode, we encounter a section that is exactly the same as the section of the very first Wily Castle stage in Mega Man 5, which is pretty cool. You might encounter some stuff like that here now and again, so keep an eye out for it if you're interested. Try to go for a record, take on some bosses. You have all your powers, and as you saw when I paused the game, you do have the powers from the special stages. You keep their powers for everything at this point. Whether it's main campaign, whether it's time attack, whether it's endless stages, the powers you get from the special stage robot masters, which you can see in the special stage section, you get to keep. So, get to keep and use for whatever you want. I believe this section is from Mega Man 6. Doesn't matter, I die here anyway. Moving on to the next thing. I compare this game a lot to Mega Man Powered Up. This challenge mode kind of cements why I compare this game to Powered Up a lot. This challenge mode is exactly the same as Mega Man Powered Up's challenge mode. It's a largely expanded version of Mega Man 9's challenge mode, which just had, like achievements that you can do for beating the game, like Womp Wily or, Blue Bomber, where you clear the game in an hour, or so on and so forth, like don't get hurt the entire time you play the game, or don't die the entire time you play the game, etc., etc. Those are the one set of challenges. Those are the only set of challenges you had in Mega Man 9, in Mega Man 9's challenge mode, but Mega Man 10's challenge mode has both this and something else, which is what Mega Man Powered Up did, essentially. A series of actual gameplay challenges in unique gameplay situations where you fight bosses, go through short stages, etc., etc. So, we're going to try a couple now just to see. Like Stroller. Which I believe this one is just walk forward, right? Yeah, this is just walk forward to reach the goal. Depending on what the challenge is, you might not have the ability to use your Mega Buster. You don't have the ability to use your Mega Buster here. You just have the ability to walk and jump to, test that you can walk and jump. Other kinds of special stages, fighting a certain amount of enemies, getting past certain obstacles, fighting bosses, mini-bosses. Just like Mega Man Powered Up. You only have unlocked in the beginning the normal mode versions of all the mini-bosses and bosses. But playing the game in easy mode and playing the game in hard mode will unlock the easy mode and hard mode versions of bosses, and normal mode bosses. You won't even have access to the normal mode bosses or mini bosses from the beginning. You have to beat the game in normal mode, easy mode, and hard mode in order to unlock the normal mode, easy mode, and hard mode version of all bosses. Mega Man 10 also has a crown system with its challenges. Basically, for challenges like bosses and mini bosses, if you do it without getting hurt, then you get a gold crown. If you do it but you get hurt, then you get a silver crown. Simple as that. And if you die, then you don't get anything. That's the way it is. You got a silver crown for the Wily Machine because you got hurt a few times. I think I'm gonna get a gold crown soon with a mini boss. I think. I don't know. Probably. Anyway, overall, the challenge mode adds a lot of replay value because these are actual, not refighting the bosses, but a lot of the challenges before that are actual unique challenges that you can take on that, expand gameplay time and force you to get good, as they say. And here, by the way, you're seeing, easy mode mini boss, which I do get hurt in, but still. You get it. This is how challenge mode works. It's pretty good. Nice expansion of gameplay. And again, pretty much exactly the same as Mega Man Powered Ups, except unlike Mega Man Powered Up, there is no special reward at the end where if you do all 100 challenges in Mega Man Powered Up, you will unlock Proto Man as a playable character. You don't get that in this. But anyway, that's all there is to it. Let's move on to the next thing. Bring it on, video. What's the next thing we got to talk about? I think I know, but we'll see. Ah yes, the section I've been looking forward to, where we compare normal mode and easy mode. We're going to be taking on Sheep Man as Mega Man and his base. I don't go the exact same speed as both characters, because obviously base is faster than Mega Man in some respects, and Mega Man's more powerful than base in other respects, but I do think I go at a decent enough pace where you get to see the differences. I mean, first of all, look at Mega Man's screen. Look at that safety platform there. You're going to see that safety platform all over the place as Mega Man. Because easy mode provides so many ridiculous safety platforms, it's really difficult to lose in easy mode. But I like the fact that it's there. I like the fact that there is an introductory mode to get people into Mega Man and what it's all about without actually, you know, forcing people to get into the difficulty of Mega Man, because Mega Man games are hard and people like Mega Man, but they kind of get turned off by the fact that the games can be kind of difficult sometimes. Anyway, you're starting to see it now, just how much thought goes into the differences between the modes. I mean, just compare this to my hard mode Let's Play. Part 1, specifically, when I look at Sheep Man. Just look at how slow things are in normal mode and easy mode, comparatively. It's insane. You know, these aren't big differences, but they're differences, and they are attempts to actually make this stuff matter, to actually make normal mode matter, and make normal mode, you know, not as easy as easy mode and not as hard mode. And, you know, there's a lot of attempts on easy mode to make it a breeze to get through. All the safety platforms and items that they give you. You saw back there with Mega Man. He got the thing you get at the end of the original Mega Man game. That thing that you get in the original Mega Man game with the Japanese name I don't know, that revives all your health and all your weapon energy in one go. They litter that all over the place in easy mode of Mega Man 10, because they want to make sure you have an easy time with it, you know? Reappear and disappear in block puzzles, completely different in easy mode compared to normal mode compared to hard mode. They really went out of the way to make sure that each difficulty, unlike in Mega Man 9, with its hero mode and superhero mode, the difficulties here matter. And the difficulties here do affect gameplay experience. And the difficulties here aren't just artificial, you know, increase of damage or artificial placement of platforms. They take their time to actually design things and make it fit with the mode you're playing. It's really good. Anyway, I finished this stage of Base a lot faster, because Base starts off the game with a flying ability and Mega Man does not. But because the reappear and disappear and block stuff in Mega Man's easy mode is so easy, it's not going to take that much longer, but it's going to take a little bit longer to get there. And look, there's another Sayu Japanese thing that, you know, brings all your health and all your energy together, so... It's really well done that they put thought into it as compared to Mega Man 9. It's like Mega Man powered up in that way, where easy mode, normal mode, and hard mode of that game do matter and do change things. But even then, this is even more well thought out than that, I think. And by the way, you saw there in the Mega Man side of it that getting to a boss for the first time in a difficulty does unlock them for challenge mode, which we covered in the previous section. And look at the bosses themselves. Bosses themselves play differently in between the difficulties. You don't see it that much with Sheep Man. I mean, you do see it with Sheep Man, but you see it more so with someone like Chill Man, who actually has a unique attack exclusive to hard mode. And you see how different he actually fights in easy mode and normal mode. There's a lot of thought put into this, and I like that a lot. It's really well done. And there really isn't that much more to say about it, so I'm going to let Mega Man kick Sheep Man's ass, and I'll see you for the last section. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there isn't that much to really go over here. We're just gonna take a look at a couple of extra things that I didn't really cover in the main playthrough that kind of wanted to cover, even though they're not really that important, like the unique base items that you get. Again, as I said in part 3 of Mega Man 10, it's not really that different. The Trouble item and Trouble Rescue, it's essentially Beat and Eddie, but for base, and you know, slightly different animations for that. Not really that different animations. It's just something I want to show off because technically it is a new thing. Technically it's not a new thing. But whatever. Here we are. Figured I could expand this out for a couple of minutes longer just to talk and give my final goodbyes. I really enjoyed Mega Man 10. It's a wonderful game. Wonderful last experience. If there was never another Mega Man game again, then this would have been a great send-off for it, in my opinion. I think it's better than Mega Man 9 in almost every way. And that's really all there is to say on the matter. You've seen me play, you've seen what I've done. By the way, going back to a boss room after you beat the boss is not there. It doesn't really matter because it's time attack mode, but still. I really like Mega Man 10, guys. I hope you did too. See you next time. Bye-bye.